The 20 Ways to Win Secret Lair is now out, and there is a lot to unpack when it comes to this video. I will be going over the special art cards and the deck itself and giving an overall thought and opinion. Is this deck actually worth buying? And potentially go on the future of these deck secret layers. But before I go any further, a word from our sponsor, which is me and my small little Etsy shop where I make t-shirts and hoodies in multiple sizes and multiple colours with funny and cool card-ish themed designs on them for people to enjoy. If you like me and my channel and want to help support it, the best thing to do is like and subscribe, and also then buy yourself something nice. So starting off with probably the main part of it, which is the alt art cards, the secret layer cards themselves. Now in a deck called 20 Ways to Win, you would think there is 20 alt art cards, but unfortunately they did 10, which is, in I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the most they've ever done at once. However, with a name called 20 Ways to Win, you would think each way would have an alternative card. But if you have never seen them, here they are on screen.
Foil Goshentai of Life's Origin. Foil Approach of the Second Sun. Foil Felidar Sovereign. Foil Happily Ever After. Foil Triskaidekaphile. Foil Revel in Riches. Foil Helix Pinnacle. Foil Simic Ascendancy. Foil Soul Ring. Foil Maze's End.
When it comes to these, they are one, absolutely beautiful, two, great cards and great design. I absolutely love every single one of them. My only problem with this is, one, I personally think there should have been a separate secret layer with the 10 cards, and two, I wish they had the 20 cards, because to be honest, having two that win if you have the most life and only one being an alt card just seems a little weird to me. But some of them they've already made secret layers of, like the Way to Win with Lily's Contracts and stuff like that. But I did find these cards to be absolutely beautiful, and I do think, even though this is a deck one, they should always have a, if you just want the alt art cards, here you go. You are able to purchase them in foil or non-foil, and same with the deck. In the deck these are all foil, there's only one variation of it. I do think they should have a non-foil and foil version of the deck. But they released a few other things with this. The main other thing that I want to focus on is the tokens. They released 2 shrine tokens in a beautiful alt art foil, which is really good because the commander is Goshintai. And then with the rest of the tokens, they're just double-sided full art cards, which is again good, but I did find it weird that they did hard focus on them and not the rest. This is, in my opinion, a premium product. If you want to buy a premium product, it should be premium. But then probably thinking, what about the rest of the deck? What about the other 90 cards in this deck? When it comes to this, I'll be going over them in each section, but I will not be adding in the cards that have the alt art in them. So let's start off with the creatures in the deck. There is a total of 26 creatures, and some of the good ones are
Heliod, Sun-Crowned. Mangara, the Diplomat. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. 20-Toed Toad. Torian Mauler. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Forgotten Ancient. Seedborn Muse. Kineos and Tyro of Miletus.
a lot of these I do like. I do think they are good cards. It depends on the art in some of them, because usually they'll show an art in the kind of the website, but then when you get it, it's a different art. I think, and I could be wrong here, all these cards are foil. There's a lot of good cards, but not that much value. I could be wrong here. I think like the Gay Kings, I can't remember the name of the real card, is the most pricey creature in this deck. I do think that it is under 20 still. I think it's like €18 or something like that. But there is a lot of good creature cards in here, and some I'm shocked to see, and then some I've seen too many variations of. My biggest problem with this so far already is, if you've been playing Magic for a while, you're going to have 40, 60, 80% of these type of cards already. So now let's go into the spells. When it comes to spells, it is the instances and sorceries. Altogether there is 12 in total, and if you've seen none of them, here's some on screen.
Austere Command. Rite of Replication. Eerie Ultimatum. Clever Concealment. Drown in Dreams.
Some of these are just kind of, for a weird product focused on 20 ways to win, I can see why some of them are in here. Some of them is to make tokens for Lily's contract and stuff like that. But there's like random board wipes and random cards that are like generically good, but cheap generically good, if you understand what I mean. I do find them weird because they're not really focused on winning. I thought they would have really weird, bizarre cards going with the deck, because the deck is supposed to be weird. But no, they put in just casual, good, cheap cards. But now we're going on to the artifacts of this deck. When it comes to the artifacts, there's 18 in total, and here's some on screen.
Monologue Tax, Test of Endurance, Mechanized Production, Ghoulish Impetus, Ghostly Prison.
Most of these I can see why and pull them in and go, okay, that makes sense. But Ghostly Prison is the main one that I'm like, why? Why is it here? It doesn't help with winning. It slows the game down a bit potentially to help you win, but not fast enough. There's more, if you're gonna put a tax card in, there's way better tax cards. But I did find it weird. A majority of the cards that are enchantments here usually just seem to be kind of generically good, or one of the 20 ways to win. I did find the enchantments of this kind of, so far, the lowest point of the deck. And then there's artifacts. There's 6 artifacts in total, 3 of them being mana rocks, so I'm not going to go over them, but the other 3 cards are
Halo Fountain, Maskwood Nexus, Lightning Greaves.
These clearly are all just ways to win. You have the Fountain because, again, you get a bunch of tokens and win, which, again, should have been an old art. Raccoons going down a waterfall just seem, or a fountain seem to be my type of thing. Maskwood Nexus just seems to be a Lily contract win, or, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just really hate to go, they're all demons with different names, I win. It's a good card. I'm kind of see it's good in this, but I did find it to be a very... There was no demons. There's ways to make the demons, but they're all tokens and stuff. It's very weird. I'm not the biggest fan of it overall. Sorry, there wasn't even, there was changelings. There was one changeling and then one to turn a creature into a changeling, which you would have to focus your own, which is, again, very weird to me. And then there's Lightning Greaves to just, again, to hit with commander damage or attacking with a creature. The commander damage seems weird because in my fair opinion, think Go Shintai is not the best commander for commander damage. I know they were aiming for a Wooburg one, but even like either of the Jodas would have been a better one in my opinion. And then there's like Dragon, and then just focus on like 20 ways to win and turn them on into dragons from your hand, or like something weird, or even a Child of Alara would have been a better, in my opinion, commander. Imagine just a giant raccoon with tentacles. That would have been absolutely hilarious. And then the one thing I do really find strange, and if anyone in the comments can explain to me, there was one planeswalker, this planeswalker, and I find that, why is it this planeswalker? I would have accepted if they'd done a Soren Markov, the one that puts your health to 10, or Bolus, which makes people lose the game, or you win the game if like no one has a legendary permanent. There is planeswalkers out there that pretty much just say, I win the game, or that are very powerful. But no, they picked this card of all of them. So if you understand or know why, or even have a theory, please let me know. And then the lands. In this deck there's 37 lands in total, but here are some of the good ones.
Baldur's Gate, Bountiful Promenade, Homeward Path, Overgrown Farmland, Razorverge Thicket, Wooded Bastion, The World Tree.
Now when it comes to lands, I understand, and I know I'm going to get a little bit of backlash from this, but my biggest problem with the lands is, I know it has Maze's End, and I know you need the gates to win, and most of the gates enter tap. That is fine, but there are so many cards they could have taken out to put in lands don't enter tapped, but also, even the lands that are not gate are a bit meh. For a, like, premium content, or premium thing, that is €165, never mind American dollars, but €165, you get 2 basic lands, which is a white and green, I believe, which again, when it comes to the decks, I know there's basic lands in, but for a Wooburg deck, at least give us 1 of each basic land. A loaded tap lands that enter tapped because they're gates, which is fair because of Maze's End. but the rest of the cards, you get one filter land. And for a deck that is 165 quid, no. Now I know the deck overall is like 220 or something like that if you bought them at the lowest cost individually, and I know you get a bunch of art. People are going to argue that, but I would rather personally just buy a commander deck that's like 80 than a deck that has like really slow, not much ramp. I think there's one ramp card, land ramp card for a game, and I'm pretty sure like everyone has 20 variations of that card. I just find that the lands are not the best, and it is not. I think the lands put a huge drag in because I know the cards are worth up to like 220 or something like that, but if I was going to buy this product, I would like to buy a product that I can use. In my personal opinion, when it comes to this deck, it feels like you cannot use it. And the main reasons you cannot use it is the lands are terrible. The second variation is, I know it's 20 ways to win, I know it's the theme, but they're all over the place. I have decks that do variations of these things, and I did find that this is all over the place. You want to win with life gain. The problem with winning with life gain is you cannot win with life gain because there's like Lily's Contract that does damage to you. There is a card that you need to make a bunch of tokens for to win the game. The creature that if you have 5 or more. Again, problem with that. There's like one card that does it and does it well, and then you have to wait until your next turn to be able to win unless you flash it in somehow, but you cannot with this deck. I don't think there's any flash in here. There's no demons. For Lily's Contract, you have to use a changeling and then copy it. So again, if you have a changeling and you want to copy it, but then on your next turn you draw the card that you win if you have like 4 or more, you're sitting there going, which one do I do? Which is the better one? Again, it was a good idea, but I don't think they have the resources or willing to put in kind of the effort. But then my final thoughts when it comes to this is, I find the deck not to be worth it, other than the alt-art cards. I do think, even though it's 165 and the deck is like worth 230 if you bought it all single individually, I do think for the most expensive deck, the angel one, the flip one, even the dog one, they were cheaper, but the cards were somewhat worth it. It's not the value of the cards that makes these products sell. It's one of those things that you buy it to use. You buy it and go, or unless you're a scalper, but you buy it and go, this deck is worth the value of the deck. It's kind of like a video game. If you buy a video game for 100 quid, but only get like 60 quid worth of value of it, it is not worth it. I've seen people use the flip deck on its own and still have the flip deck on its own. I've seen people with the angel deck and the dog deck. The dog deck's probably the biggest one, and people are still using it to this day with no changes or very minimum changes. Now that's not all, some completely upgrade it, but it's at least playable out the box, and there's people still playing it to this day out the box. This is more expensive and feels like you have to put upgrades in. So you're spending, in my opinion, the extra, like, you're getting to 220, but you have to put in the difference between 165 and 220 in on your own to make this deck playable. I do think it was a good idea, but I think it was too big of a reach. They could have done something completely different and better, in my personal opinion. But again, that's just my thoughts and opinions of this deck. When it comes to the future, I really hope they do change a few things. I hope they do a foil and non-foil variant. I also think they should have whatever the secret layer part is, so in this case the 10 cards, they should have a separate foil or non-foil if you just want them. And even if they mark it up a little bit just to kind of put people more focused on the deck, that's somewhat okay. I understand that they're a business at the end of the day. So now that I've gone through all my thoughts and opinions, I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like and subscribe and do all that YouTubey stuff we always beg and ask for. And if you like this type of video, I have different Magic the Gathering videos Here, a playlist of Magic the Gathering stuff I make that is it worth it stuff here, and a subscribe button here, and I will see you all in the next video.